Francis now accuses Dana White of being a major barrier that prevented the battle between Jon Jones and him. In an interview with Sportsbook Review, Francis recently discussed his thoughts on the likelihood of a long-awaited fight with Jones, stating that he views UFC President Dana White as the primary obstacle. Ngannou also asked White if he even wants him to be successful outside of the UFC, suggesting that tensions may still exist after his exit from the organization. Francis said that despite his desire for the battle, he doesn't think it will occur, pointing to the main barrier as the reason. He clarified that since 2020, immediately following his victory against Rosenstruck at UFC 249, he has been attempting to get a bout with Jones. Francis called it a bait-and-switch strategy, saying the UFC used the prospect of the Jones fight as a lure. Gane made it apparent that battling Jones is not the key to his career. He is focused on his own goals and happy with his achievements whether or not the super bout ever happens. It might happen if you can get past D.A. White, but that's a huge hurdle, and I don't care for myself. I'm working at my own pace and doing well. That won't affect how I sleep, so I don't care. They held it out like a trap until I was about to leave, and then they said, okay, here's the Jon Jones fight, but it was bait. I had been trying to fight Jon Jones for 4 years. I thought they were really cunning. Finish the quote. Though Ngannou is still focused on his own future, the Predator thinks White finds it difficult to accept the way things turned out, and even wonders if the UFC leader wants to see him fail outside the promotion. After an odd Instagram live session, Daniel Cormier unexpectedly stands up for Jon Jones, who is still negotiating a return with the UFC. Fans were taken aback when Jones went live on Instagram in the wee hours of last week and gave a tirade that immediately raised eyebrows despite the fact that he has been spending time with his loved ones. As a father, you become angry and frustrated and want to murder them. Jones claimed that shortly after the live stream, the video became viral on social media, with people voicing their disapproval of his comments. Jones responded to the incident on Twitter with a since-deleted apology. I apologize, I was simply losing my mind. He wrote, I'm done with it, during a recent Funky and the Champ episode. After the video went viral online, DC gave a rare defense of Jones, quoting, being in favor of Jon Jones bothers me. If Jones was on vacation, he was babbling about his child as he went down the street. We've all been there, right? Perhaps not to that extent, but our children are a constant source of frustration, and the worst part is, you're the evil guy when you return to that hotel room. Because you're upset, everyone will paint you as the villain. Come on, haven't we all been there? I don't mean to defend him. It's still unclear what or who Jones was referring to in his tirade in a recent video on Vadgila's YouTube channel, where he shared footage of himself and Merab Dvalishvili reacting live to Khamzat Chimaev's fight against Kamaru. This comes after initial worries about Jones's mental state. Amid his ongoing negotiations with the UFC, and others have downplayed the situation, believing the clip was overblown online. Usman and Merab were clearly actively supporting Usman, encouraging him to swing and go for the win. When Kamaru finally began throwing, Merab reacted angrily, saying that he should have done it sooner. Throughout the fight, both Merab and Vat were fully behind Usman, but what really stood out was that Merab was openly supporting Chimaev. He was saying, let's go, my man. Come on, press him for sake. Come on, Usman. You must fight like a warrior. This was a slip, but it was nothing. We need 5 rounds of this man. In the final seconds, Khamzat is winning. Man, you have to give it your all, Usman. Look at him, please. Now he's swinging. For heaven's sake, he ought to have begun swinging earlier. That did not sit well with Khamzat. When asked about Merab's support for him during an interview on Adam Zub's YouTube channel, he lost his temper. Although Khamzat did not specifically identify Merab, the message was clear. He dismissed the critique, claiming that he frequently hears this type of discourse, but never sees the same fervor when it comes to face-to-face interactions. He even mentioned that he and Merab had previously met, but this attitude wasn't present at the time. Look, dude, there must be times, even as a professional, when you simply lose interest and choose to confront those who criticize you or don't want you to succeed. Does that ever occur? I mean, take Merab as an example. You saw how he openly supported you. What do you say about that? I don't really care, to be honest. I've been bothered to confront some people before, but now I don't mind. I've also come to terms with the fact that many of these fighters don't want me to win. They act a certain way in front of a camera, but when I see them in person, they're silent. In this case too, he didn't say anything unfavorable. I'm not here to offend, but I think that if you're a man, you should maintain the same energy in person, rather than just behind a camera. The hostility between the Dastani Chin camp and Georgian fighters is only going to increase as a result of this most recent encounter. For some time now, the rivalry has been seething. While Islam and his side have rejected Ilia Toya's outspoken desire to fight Islam Makhachev, arguing that El Matador must first establish himself at lightweight, Merab and Umar Nurmagomedov have engaged in heated back and forth that has even escalated into a physical altercation. Whether it's Ilia versus Islam, Merab versus Umar, or even Chimaev making fun of Merab, these matches have a competitive edge, but also an underlying tension that keeps getting worse. It is doubtful that this rivalry between the Dastani Chin elite and the Georgian fighters will end anytime soon. According to Justin Gagey, Islam Makhachev would be a more suitable opponent for him than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Justin is determined. to win the UFC lightweight gold again. And before he can capture the title, he wants Islam Makhachev to be on the other side of him. When Gaethje fights Dan Hooker in a 5-round co-main event in Las Vegas at UFC 313, it will be a crucial test for him. The battle is a must-win for the spotlight and an opportunity to solidify his place among the best in the category. Gaethje has twice been on the verge of undisputed glory but lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov and Charles Oliveira by submission, but his will to win hasn't diminished. He recently disclosed that, while he still respects the skills of the defending champion, he feels Makhachev offers him a stronger stylistic fight than Khabib. Justin said that Normov was the most difficult opponent he has ever faced while reflecting on his previous title bouts. No matter how good he did on the night of their fight, he thought, the result probably wouldn't have altered. Now that he has another chance to win the title, Gaethje is motivated to show that he has learnt from his previous setbacks. However, he must first overcome Dan Hooker, as a loss at UFC 3113 might kill his chances of winning the title. Despite being one of the few fighters to defeat Khabib in a round, Gaethje doesn't think he could have even remotely defeated that iteration of the Eagle. In his opinion, that war, which now had a significant stake, was one he was never supposed to win. With a showdown with the Hooker imminent, Gaethje is totally focused on the task at hand. In contrast to his prior championship bouts, he believes a fight with Makhachev would be a better stylistic fit, and a victory would immediately return him to the title conversation. He thinks things might turn out differently this time. That's all from the MMA Maniac. We appreciate your time, and please remember to subscribe for daily MMA news.